You're on there, Steve.
Beautiful.
There you go. Steve is pressuring us. Very high anxiety this morning as the boys are a little worrisome on a Friday morning. This is the earliest podcast we've ever done.
Yeah, it is 4:30 a.m. here from Minnesota MASH. Cheers.
Cheers,
boys.
Noel?
What do you think about the most, or what's your most popular thought?
What do you think about the most? Dead air.
Moving forward, that you literally have to drive, walk, wherever you're going to some extent, and your thoughts are always moving forward to the next one. So that's all I got initially.
How often can you multitask? How often are you doing something and thinking of something else? So when you say like walking, like I know that you're not going.
I know, but there's certain things that certain actions that you can multitask at, like where walking and driving. Obviously, many people multitask while they're driving and walking, but certain active tasks you definitely can't do more than one thing at once. It's kind of like when we do breathing exercises to that extent. How often can you actually just focus on the breath, or your thoughts stray, and that kind of thing?
Does that go back to what we were talking about last time about how you're never actually in the present?
Something along those lines.
Like your most popular thought is your next action, your next choice,
for sure.
Your next mood.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Is that what you were kind of saying?
No, I was just curious, like what he meant by moving forward. Like for me, it sounds negative, but I probably think about issues more than anything. Like what issue do I have to tackle next? So like problems. So the way my lifestyle goes is I fix problems basically for a living. It sucks. But like, so I'm thinking about that all the time.
You're a problem.
You're a real problem, right? You're a problem. I don't want to point fingers here, but you're a problem. So most of my day is consumed by, okay, like how can I make sure to either enhance something so that I don't have as many issues, or how do we improve an issue as fast as possible? That's pretty much whether that's professionally or personally, both.
To some extent, that's what I was saying. It's the progress of the day. Like it's the next action, the next step, the next turn of the drive. Like that is majority. Like our bodies, our eyes are on the front of our head. We're literally wired to go and move forward.
And that change. I mean, I think that changes as you get older. Because I mean, I tell Harvey all the time, like, hey man, I had a workout today and I was in it. I was loving it. Like I was dialed in on the workout. Usually I work out, and the whole time I'm working out, it's basically just like a cheat code to help me figure out issues. Like it helps me think. But sometimes I still work out and like just love working out. But that's few and far between now that I'm 30 and I just have a bunch of crap to deal with all
31.
the time. Sniffing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Harv. I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought of that issue yet.
That'll be a new problem.
That was a little early to think about that
That's
issue.
the main thought of the day.
Well, wouldn't that be, couldn't you make an argument that every single human's most popular thought is problem solving? Because ultimately that's essentially human evolution. Everyone's just solving problems all the time.
Yeah.
And you don't have to look at that as like a negative. I think some people could hear us saying this and thinking, well, that's a negative, or I'm so happy. You know, you always get the, well, I'm just too happy to have problems, that type of stuff. Well, ultimately, like everything is a problem-solving situation that would create progress. So that would ultimately be happiness, is solving problems. And it's more so of choosing your problem would be what your most popular thought essentially is around the problems. If you want the positive growth of it, choose the problem that you want to solve. But I would have to say that that's, in a way of it, I agree with what you're saying, Steve, that it's you're solving your problems, but then I would be solving mine as well, and then Brown would be solving his, which would be a long rabbit hole of just a bunch of problems. But I would say
it's a good framework for the answer.
I would say the most popular thing that we're always thinking is the next problem you're solving, or reflecting on the last problem that you tried to solve and then digesting if that was a positive or a negative.
Well, that's what, like you addressed it. I want everyone who's listening to understand that, and I know you agree with me. We're not saying that we're negative people. So you can use whatever word you want. the opportunity to get better, whatever you want it to
Sure.
be. It's figuring out how to be better and moving forward and having people be happy.
Right.
That doesn't make you an unhappy person. It's
No.
just that's what I think about the most.
Yeah, I mean, it's like working out even. I mean, working out is the better you get at routines and habits in your life or solving other problems efficiently, you have the better ability to work out and train. You know, you just have to do that. You know, so as you effectively do other things that better and solve problems better and have better opportunity, then you basically are more clear in the space of, in this example, working out.
Feel good. We got a lot of problems.
So in honor of Steve, last coffee buzz. When was the last
Oh,
time?
Nolan.
When was the
Shout
last
out,
time you
Steve.
were most nervous? Or when were you most nervous?
Wait, what?
Excuse
Can we
me.
have some
Sorry.
resemblance here? What was the last thing that Steve?
Remember we talked about the nicest thing someone's done for you, and
Oh,
Steve
sure.
said you should ask when were you most nervous in life?
Oh,
So when were you most nervous?
Wait, so this hasn't been asked before?
No.
So when were we most nervous?
Yep. In your life.
in your life, or when's the last time you
I'm
were
sorry.
nervous?
In your life, when were you the most nervous?
I mean, for me, it was night one of college. Woo! So for anyone listening to this, I went to the University of Illinois, Chicago. A little different for a little small town boy from Minnesota coming out to University of Illinois, Chicago, which is literally downtown Chicago. It's just outside, right, just nestled up against the south side of Chicago. My roommate, Aaron, was a very brash individual, loud. My parents walked in. They were dropping me off. I'd never been out of the state. And he comes bombing in with about 3 guys, booze in hand, already loaded. My mom and my dad are there, sweet people. The music's coming on. This is kind of what it felt like here on my first night of college. And
timing.
they drop me off and they leave. And I literally just cried myself to sleep. I was so nervous, dude. I've never been that. I will never forget what it felt like. Like, new atmosphere. What is it like? Where are we going? What's the team going to be like?
Yeah.
I can still like feel the fear and nervousness from that night.
Does it make you nervous right now, thinking about it?
No, not still. It's far enough back that I'm not still nervous about it, but
Yeah.
I do remember exactly how what it was like.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. For my first day of college was way different. I wasn't that nervous for mine, but I went up on my own. I went up, I took some things for the boys that I hadn't met yet,
First day of college?
Yeah, first day of college.
You were my roommate.
Yeah, I was the guy.
Yeah, you were that guy.
I was that brash guy. What do you got?
I'm trying to. There it is. I couldn't hear myself in my own microphone.
There you go.
I'd have to say one of my. I feel like it's cutting out. Yeah.
We did that on purpose, Pete.
Yeah.
Are you in there, Pete?
Strategic mic cut.
Well, I'll give away my secret. I'm not connected here. So I can't hear you.
Perfect. No, probably like a football tryout for sure. When I was coming out of coming out of CFL, I tried out for the Eagles and did like the full combine workout and all that kind of stuff. And now that I look back on it, I couldn't sleep the night before. Like heart's pounding before you even run the 40, that kind of stuff. It was definitely nerve wracking. It's literally me and one other guy, and we got 25 people out there watching us run. And the same thing happened the next week with the Saints. But then, obviously, the more you do something, the better you get at it. But yeah, definitely that was probably my most literally like hand sweating, heart pounding feeling that I remember.
Did you have something on TV the night before? You remember what it was?
No, but I racked up some charges at the hotel.
Yeah, so I was actually talking to Austin about this yesterday. He was asking me about our jobs and stuff like that, and I was telling him how I was like, a lot of people would see me as an extrovert and all that stuff, but I just I've always been shy. Like, I've had to beat shyness forever, basically. And when I was growing up, going to showcases were just terribly nerve-wracking to me. Going to like a baseball showcase, I used to hate that.
Long lines.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep the night before. I was slower than everybody, and the first thing you do is you run a 60-yard dash. So I knew that I was going to look bad like immediately.
Because you're an effort runner.
Yeah,
with
I'm
not
a
a lot of
hard
movement.
runner. I'm a hard runner. I just was breathing heavy back then. I didn't know how to breathe. I was skinnier than everybody, and I would just be so slow. And so immediately everyone would think that I sucked. And I always knew that I was really good, but I knew that I looked like I sucked.
Because they did. For anyone who's listening, they do the running first.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So Harv was just this skinny little kid who couldn't run fast. So he was immediately behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, it's funny how that works out, because then talking about your Eagle thing, I remember I went and worked out with the Tigers before the draft a few years ago. And I remember I went to college for 6 years. So, I mean, as anything, you grow up, you kind of learn you do more things that make you nervous or that you're scared of. And as you do more of that problem solving, if you will, as you do more of that, you just realize, well, I don't really need to be that nervous for things, So then you just kind of get better at understanding yourself. And I remember I'd played college ball for 6 years and thought I'd get drafted for 5 of them, didn't get drafted for any of them. And I remember my last year, I was at this workout for the Detroit, and I ran the 60, and I knew the scout pretty well, and who was there running the thing. And as I ran the 60, I was like 10 yards from the thing, and I was saying already, like, just wait till I throw, just wait till I throw. But no, my most no, you're gonna really love this one. My most nervous moment that I can think of right when you asked this was the day we went flying to Chicago.
Oh yeah.
When I was, I'm sure people who have listened regularly to the podcast have found out by now that I used to absolutely hate flying, have a fear of flying. And one night we bought plane tickets because we were going to get over the fear of flying. So Nolan and I flew to Chicago and back to beat the fear. You know about this.
Oh yeah.
And that whole morning, I was twisting and turning.
We don't like being up high.
We do not. I was getting ready to get on there, and I had tears in the eyes. It was bad. I was getting nervous. I felt like I wanted to puke. I didn't want to get on it. And then we got up in the air. I looked at Noel. I was like, well, this ain't so bad.
Public speaking was another one for me. I had to give a speech to the Northwestern football team. I think it was my redshirt freshman year. Like we had this like leadership council, and each person had a value, and my value was honesty. Everybody else talks for like 15 minutes on sweet words like character and effort and all these things that I love, and I get honesty. So
it's a tough one for you too. Yeah.
Well, what do you say, really? Hey, be honest.
Yeah.
And what that means is don't lie. And by lying, you're not honest.
Guys, honestly,
And we want to be honest.
Honestly,
What do you keep saying?
I want to tell you guys something.
well, that's what it turned. It literally turned into me like folding up my notes and just going off the cuff, and I just literally attacked people that I didn't think were being honest in front of the entire team. Cuss up a storm. You guys know the drill.
Yep.
And
Inappropriate moments.
Inappropriate. Tell guys. I'm telling guys not to hide in the training room and fake being hurt. Like, we need all the dogs out there. Literally just went down the line on what. And then I was like, you know what? Honestly, this is why I chose the school, and then gave my whole criteria for the school. Some of which cutting on other schools that I chose not to go to, and why I chose not to go to them. So that's what happens when I get nervous.
Sounds like you should have gave Pete the word restraint.
Yeah.
Restraint.
Honestly, I don't know about that one. No, so before we go on to the next question, and you used it in that line right there, but think about how many times you've said this and people have said this to you, and as I've gotten older, I've thought about this when people go, now can I be honest with you? And you just sit there, like, what would you say if you just went, nah, tell me what you really wanted to say, Yeah.
It's basically a buffer to be like, you're about to hear something you don't like.
Right.
That's what.
Let me be honest.
It's like, I don't want you to feel jumped, so I'm going to give you this half second to realize I'm going to say something really bad to you.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to say
it's the old saying of, with all due respect, I think you're an asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you said with all due respect.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So to be honest with you, let's get to the next question.
Well, let me lie to you.
I'm going to lie to you here.
Listen.
Go ahead, Noel.
Okay, so if you had an identical twin you didn't know about, and you guys cross paths in public, would you be able to recognize an exact replica, like a Could you like see yourself in public?
Oh,
Absolutely.
Would you be able
Absolutely.
to recognize yourself?
I don't know.
Well, mine would stand out for his jaw structure, and Pete would stand out because he's enormous.
That's true.
Harv, would you be able to
Honestly,
spot yourself?
To be honest with you, I don't know if I see him. Wait. You get jaw structure.
Oh, yeah.
Pete would get pure size.
Well, you ever seen this guy? Anytime. Pete's to the point now, folks, where in normal human everyday life, like we went to a golf event on Monday, and all these photos were taken. I mean, he just stands out like a sore thumb. He's seeing himself. Like, he's standing out. Like,
Yeah.
you and I are going to bundle in there a little bit more. I just had to find a way to separate myself.
See, I think that I'm, by pure osmosis, I think I'm starting to look a little bit bigger in those shots too.
Bigger.
Oh,
Yeah, look a little bit more of a presence.
evolving.
Yeah, I think I'm evolving. I'm problem solving.
I think I.
Let me be honest right now.
No. I'm thinking of the question. I think that I recognize myself, and I'm trying to think of the situation that I would say something about it.
Well, it's also, I don't know if you weren't at this ball game. We were at a town baseball game watching Tony and Andy play, and Pete walked up with a cutoff shirt on and no shoes on.
Yeah, I've heard.
And there was like a group of 10 dudes who were drinking some beers, and it got really quiet because they recognized him coming up. And
Or just saw him coming up.
yeah, saw him coming up, and this one guy truly goes, "What in the F is that?" So I gotta imagine if you're at that level of hierarchy in terms of body size. Now he's not even close intellectually, self-awareness wise. He ain't close.
We're just talking physical
We're talking
characteristics
pure
here.
body here.
Yeah.
We're talking pure body.
Yeah.
I'd have to imagine that you got to be able to pick yourself out if you see your identical twin. So I'm gonna think it's easiest for Pete. If it's in the winter or any full clothes type stuff, I'm not gonna be able to see me.
Would you say something to you?
I think I'd head nod him.
Just a
Yeah,
Maybe a point?
If he was identical twin, like I said, we would both battle shyness at all times. He's probably shy. I'm a little shy. You know, maybe it's our gift and our curse that we know how to talk to people publicly. But I want to respect him. You know,
You'd want to give him his
I want to
space.
give him his space.
You'd know where he was at.
Yeah.
It's tough because I'm honestly trying to think if I was with a group of friends and I saw someone who looked exactly like me, I would talk to them for sure.
Yeah.
If I was by myself, there's no way I'm talking to them, even if they look exactly like me. I don't think I say a word.
I would say a word.
I don't think I say a word. I think I just go, dude, I saw this guy who looked exactly like me, and everyone be like, okay.
If anything,
Like, I swear to God.
I get mad at him.
Yeah,
What's your problem, man?
Yeah.
This is my party.
that's my thing.
Yeah, this is my time. What are you doing here, buddy?
Yeah, well,
That's funny.
I'd like look
question,
at my
fun
guy and be
question.
like, oh yeah, and he's dressed kind of nice, but it doesn't really match. And
Yeah.
That might be me. That might be me exactly.
That's kind of nice. I know he could have shaved a little bit. The guy,
Yeah, it's-
honestly, I don't think he cares.
Yeah, it's almost like he cares, but he doesn't. Guy kind of looks like a piece of crap.
Yeah, he doesn't have a buddy like Pete. I
Yeah,
bet.
yeah. He doesn't have, what if all three? What if you saw all three of us walking next? What if all three of those clones were walking right next to each other?
Now
that would be fun.
trippy.
Because now we're going up right away and talking to them.
Now we're challenging him.
Yeah, we're
Now we're
fighting
actually
right
fighting
away.
them. Now
So
I think we're fighting
I take Harv.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
take Harv too. We double
You
up
take
on
yeah,
Harv.
we'll double up on Harv. Pete, you take Pete and Steve. If we can take down Harv,
we take down
we'll
Harv.
come back and help you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fair.
And if we don't, and we kind of win, and you're just getting beat up, me and Harv are out of there.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully I can get out of there because I'm not that fast.
You can only outrun the other Harv.
Yeah, but I'd have to imagine that they haven't been training the breathing like we have. So aerobic capacity wise, I'm killing it.
Yeah.
And I've always been able to run long distance.
Yeah.
Now with my breathing buffer as an attribute, I think
So these are only our physical clones, not our performance clones.
these guys, because they're not going to take the path we took.
No, we're gonna outwork them.
Yeah.
There we go.
Moral of the story, Nolan, the three of us would kick the ever living crap out of the three of us.
Yeah. There, Noel got what he wanted. out of that.
Yeah.
He got what he
We got
wanted
an
out of the
answer.
question.
What's the most interesting documentary you've ever watched?
Ooh, wow. I don't want this to be my answer, but I'll get the waiver wire going here hot. My Free Solo was a crazy one.
Sure. That was really good.
I don't want that to be my answer because there's parts of it that I didn't want to watch. I just wanted to watch him climbing the mountain. But when he was climbing the mountain, I was truly nervous.
You didn't watch the whole thing?
I did. But I'm saying, like, I wouldn't go back and re-watch the documentary. I would just re-watch the climbing part.
The climbing part's cool. Like, obviously you see, like, the risk and the steps and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I like the preparation, like, him just, like, his mentally, like, him getting mentally prepared to attack that mountain. It was incredible.
But what I'm saying is, like, I'm not a mountain climber.
Okay.
So to watch that one time is, like, good enough for me. You know what I mean? But I could watch an Allen Iverson documentary.
Because you are a basketball player.
I go, yeah. I could watch an AI, you know, the dog pound. I could watch the Detroit Pistons back in the day with Benny
Bad
Wallace,
Boys.
with Joe Dumars. Remember those guys? I could watch that. I could watch that all the time. I could rewatch that is what I'm saying. Free Solo, I respect, I admire. And when I watched it the time of, I was nervous. Like, watching it, I was uncomfortable watching it, which was awesome. But I wouldn't re-watch the whole thing because I don't plan on scaling a mountain anytime soon.
Free Solo was one of those ones that everyone said it was so awesome that when I watched it, I just went,
Right.
Is it because you're a heights guy, or is it just...
No,
everyone hyped it
I thought
up.
the guy was kind of a plug, honestly. I think the Free
it's a
Solo
different
guy was a
breed of
plug.
person.
Yeah.
You know, they'd think that we're plugs. Well, maybe not me.
Maybe not you.
Yeah.
Me and Pete.
Yeah.
I thought one of my favorite things of Free Solo is when how he talked to his girlfriend at times. He's like, so you're going to climb that mountain. You're not worried about what happens to you or any of your people in your life. He goes, no.
Nope.
Yeah, that part was crazy.
Yeah.
There were definitely crazy parts.
So
I mean,
the part. Did you see the part? Was that the part where they were in the van?
Yeah.
And she even said, like, "Are you worried? Are you thinking about me at all?" And he just goes, "No." Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that girl was a special kind of gal. She was a special kind of gal.
She's a rider.
Oh yeah, you'd be like, "Are you going to stop climbing if we get married?" And he would just literally go, "No." And then awkwardly stare at each other, and
Yeah.
she'd just like try to smile like through her teeth.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
He's like been climbing for 15 years, never fallen once. Start dating her, fall 3 times.
There's a lot of, I mean, How to Make a Murderer was incredibly fun to watch. There's a new one out right now that might skyrocket to my number one. It's Aretha Franklin. And I watched, Nolan, you know what? I watched this preview, and I liked it so much that I haven't even seen the documentary. I'm going to say it's my favorite one I've ever seen.
Just the Netflix preview on the app.
Dude.
Which one?
It's on HBO. It's Aretha Franklin.
Oh.
It's her singing in a church. I think it's Amazing Grace. And they are just showing people weeping. And I could, like, actually put myself into that church. Have you ever seen something, like, in your lifetime that you just were like, oh my God, that's so incredible. Like, from another human being. I've seen it a couple times, but to hear her sing on film and watch how people react,
Yeah.
it's 100% going to be something that I do watch. So right now it's currently in the forefront of my brain that's going to be a really good one, because I just think that people who have talent that you can't even describe, like her pitch is like perfect. It's perfect. The entire time she's singing, grown men weeping in the stands. You're telling me that you don't want to watch that? I guarantee you that I'd shed a tear on this one, boys. It's a guarantee.
1,000%, dude. I'm just incredibly blown away by singing in general. One, because I can't sing at all, and I love like the X Factor YouTube videos, all the tryouts, like some of the stories that I'm to. But I guarantee I can put myself in that same seat watching Aretha sing, and I'd bawl my eyes out.
What's your go-to YouTube audition tryout that you watch?
I don't like. I just ripped through the newer ones. Like I've gone all the way back, all the way forward. It's crazy how many I've probably watched.
Mine's Callum Scott, Dancing on My Own. If anyone wants to go on YouTube and
That's a
watch
great
that,
one.
that's a guarantee by
I'll
me.
watch that. I'll watch that.
That's a good one.
I like that Hunter Price Left Behind.
Yeah, that was
a good
Which one's that one?
That was really good.
he sings, and I never want. Are these?
We're still on the YouTube stuff. Sorry,
we're
I thought
still
that
on
was a
YouTube.
documentary.
Are the
Yeah.
YouTubes are they set up? Do you think, or you think that's authentic?
I think it's authentic.
Really? I mean, I want it to be.
The
I allow
crowd
myself.
seems
allow
receptive.
myself.
You can't have a crowd respond the way they do without doing that unless they just plug the crowd noise in at the right time.
Absolutely.
They do go out and search for talent and bring them in, but then they have to like earn like going past that first round. So they'll go out and recruit people.
Yeah.
They come on, then they let it go because they need to make sure they have actually good singers on the show.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that guy, my guy Callum, I don't know if he was recruited on that show because in the middle of his performance, gives a little look off stage. Hey, Nate, he gives a little look off stage, like to his sister and mom, and like,
Oh yeah, he does.
shows
do that,
his
yeah.
hand shaking. He's like, oh my God, people are cheering for me. This is so awesome.
No, the Hunter Price one, you sent that to me.
Yeah.
Hunter Price basically sang a different song, and Simon stopped him mid-song and said, "This isn't you." He said, "Have you ever wrote before?" And the guy goes, "I do. In fact, this is my song I just wrote." And then he sings this beautiful song. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just I'm a critic.
Yeah.
That's what I'm supposed to be. Popcorn in the seats. You're supposed to be a critic to an extent. So I was just, critiquing a little bit. But that's a great one.
I actually do have a good one. This little grocery store guy comes up like full suited, looks like a dweeb up there, and like walks in. He goes, "Yeah, I do groceries. I do this," and then just gets up there and smashes At Last by Etta James.
That's Etta James.
And just digs into it, like wheeling, dealing, vein in his neck, everybody. It's probably one of my favorite ones.
I got to make sure that's Etta James.
So what's the documentaries? You're the Aretha? You're the one you haven't seen?
Well, I haven't seen.
This one scene of a documentary by Aretha Franklin.
What's yours going to be?
I really like the Pat Tillman documentary.
Oh wow.
It was cool to get a kind of insight into his mindset, not only as like a kid into a football player, but then his choices as to go out, obviously, and join the Army Rangers, and obviously the way that the military depicted his death was kind of warped and used. So it's kind of his family remedying that and just kind of really just painting a picture of his legacy. It's really cool.
What's mine, do you think?
Yours was Free Solo.
Free Solo?
Yeah, you said you had sweaty palms to the point you had sweaty palms watching
Sweaty
it.
palming. I was sweaty palming.
And mine was a preview of Aretha Franklin's documentary.
Yours was the preview. Mine was just the climbing part.
There's a ton of JFK assassination documentaries too that I thoroughly enjoy, but we're not going to go down that rabbit hole right now.
No, we're not. It's a big lifting day. It's a big problem-solving day. It actually is early. We actually did an early one.
There we go.
We did an early one. Everyone doing okay? Is this part of it? Is this playing?
This is Etta.
This is Etta James right here.
Is this on the... We got this on the mic?
We got it. Oh, yeah.
So people can hear this? Oh, wow. Don't go down on me now. You're going to start letting the tears... He's already getting watery.
Oh. Guys, this is Etta James, but make sure you tune in and watch the preview for Aretha Franklin.
Get yourself alone.
Yeah, get yourself a nice bowl of popcorn and give yourself 2.5 minutes.
Give yourself 2.5
Watch the
minutes.
Aretha Franklin documentary.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to phone. Give me your... There we go. All right, everyone have a great Friday.